Hi, I'm Johnny Knight.
Hi, I'm Leah Gold.
And welcome to
Til Design Do Us Part.
A podcast for interior lovers,
DIY doers,
people who just have differing opinions.
or a divorce pending.
Let's see.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Til
Design Do
Us Part.
Guys, all right. Til Design Do Us Part. That's the name of the pod.
Well
I
done.
got there in the end. I might have had a brain fart, but we're back.
That's okay. This week we are trying all things DIY in a hack at home edition, and we have a very special guest.
Two special guests.
Two special guests.
First one is Rufus.
Oh,
Leah's dog's with us on set today, guys.
yeah. He is not the hack at home edition
No.
expert,
You
but
got any hacks for us, Rue? No. No hacks from Rue. But we do have an exciting guest who we're going to tell you about very soon.
first of all, let's have a catch up.
What have you been up to, Leah?
I've not been up so much because I've been on holiday.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So jealous. Where did you go?
I went to Italy, obviously.
Makes
Went back
sense.
to the homeland with all of my mates. So we rented a big villa. There was
Oh my
14
God.
of us.
Love it.
It was gorgeous. Feeling very refreshed.
Plenty of Aperols. Oh, Camparis.
Too many Aperols and Camparis. Both.
Oh,
When in Rome, that's all you drink.
fair enough. I was going to say margarita, but it's not Italian. So you
No margs. We weren't shaking anything.
You were thinking that kind of shaking.
Yeah.
I was thinking that kind of shaking.
Don't.
Yeah, not going to do that.
No more. And what about you, though? What have you been up to this week?
To be honest, I can't top that.
Fair.
It's been a pretty boring week in comparison to your trip to Italy. So
Yeah.
I would say,
We'll just park it and move on.
actually, I have been unpacking boxes.
The move happened. He's in to the house.
It's a bold statement. I'm going for it.
Go
been in.
Okay.
In the house, unpacking. So yeah, no, it's bye, Roo.
Bye, Roo. He's had enough.
He's had enough of us.
That's
to be
fair.
fair, so have I.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a bit of a chaos week. Nothing as exciting as your holiday though. So I'll let you have you can win on that one.
Thank you. So kind.
But yeah, let's maybe have a little bit of a start. Should we segue into a little game of red flag, green flag?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'm
let's
here
do
for
it. DIY home hacks edition.
Right.
So, are we ready?
I'm ready.
We basically have a statement that's given to us by our producer, and we have to say if it's a red flag or if it's a green flag.
Easy enough.
Easy enough.
We can do
now, tackling a tiled splashback as your very first beginner DIY project, I would say I am so scared of tiles. They really freak me out. So I don't know. I think it's a red flag for me as the first project because I've been doing things for ages in our house and I still would never tackle tiles.
As someone who has tiled and has done DIY, I would say it was quite tough, especially using not tough, but there's a lot of he's rejoining. An angle grinder was quite extreme to use.
I mean,
as a
angle
first time.
grinder sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. I would just say do your research. Don't be
Okay.
intimidated by the tools.
Yeah.
You are the master. You're the boss for that angle grinder.
I don't know if I can tell myself I am the master of an angle grinder when all I am is petrified of it.
I mean, the first time I did turn it on, I did jump back
bounce.
a little bit. It was quite scary. But once I got into the rhythm of it, it
But
was
as
fine.
your first ever DIY project, do you think that's the one to go for?
I'm not saying it's a don't do it,
No,
but
neither
as
am
your
I.
first,
It's a red flag.
maybe a red flag. Maybe
It's the
easy
first
self in.
ever.
Yeah, maybe easy self in. Easy self in with that
Yeah,
one.
that's-
Okay,
that's
red
a-
flag done. Boom.
Thank you. If a room feels flat, just add wood paneling to fix it.
So I think paneling went through a bit of a phenomenon at one point where everyone was paneling every single wall.
Yep.
And I would say I fell victim to this in my own bedroom. And actually, I ended up putting the wrong style of paneling in my bedroom.
Oh, really?
Yes. I would say there's different styles of paneling for different rooms. Like you get paneling, I think, suited to a hallway or a living area that I don't think is suited to a bedroom.
Right.
And I didn't understand that at the start of my interiors journey, which I'll admit. And now I think I've got paneling up. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't look bad, but I think now I know it's not the right paneling for a bedroom. So I think it's understanding what's the feeling, what's the room, and then picking the correct paneling to match.
True.
Because it is a good way to add detail to a wall.
Yeah.
A bit of interest to what could be a really plain wall.
And yeah, I do think it does lift them. So
Yes.
I think I totally agree. I think it is a good way to lift a room that maybe feels flat, adds interest and, you know, character to maybe otherwise a very boring, could be a new build.
But there's lots of other ways to add interest to a room without paneling. So I wouldn't say
It's the be all and end all.
yes.
Fair enough. Right, one last one for you.
Go on.
Flat pack furniture hacks look amazing on Instagram, but look cheap in real life. Don't know where I stand on this.
So I did have the old Swedish wardrobes.
The generic Swedish wardrobes.
Yes. And I
You've
did.
done the IKEA hacks.
I wouldn't say I did the IKEA hacks, but I did it as in like I have repainted them all, panelled them, and put new hardware, and they look completely different. So I wouldn't say I've like cut anything out, but I have. Is that classed as upcycling?
Yeah, no, I would say so. You painted them, you put some new hardware on, you give them a new lease of life. They don't look like what they did when you bought them.
No, they don't look
So
like IKEA
I would say
wardrobes
that is the
at
definition
all.
of upcycle.
Then I would say
Does it look cheap in real life?
no. I think they look fitted.
I
Everyone
also-
thinks they look fitted.
I've done an IKEA hack and I would say mine doesn't look cheap in real life. I think it looks expensive in real life too. So I think it all just depends on what you're doing and how well you execute it. Because I
Yes.
think they can look cheap, but that's all down to what you're
Maybe
doing.
you've used the wrong things.
Or the wrong paint, or
correct.
you've not primed, or
Incorrect. Yes, priming. I think people forget 80%
especially with that
prime,
Swedish brand.
80% prime, 20% actual decorating and all these things.
Zinsa the hell out of it.
Zinsa bin, baby.
Zinsa bin.
Or Zinsa Aqua, depends. Okay.
Well, that's the end of Red Flag, Green Flag, and
done.
takes us so iconically onto our guest slot. Can't wait to introduce this one.
Wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge and author of a book that sat right there.
So if you haven't spotted it,
Eagle eyes. It's the one and only Laura Della.
woo! Welcome, Laura.
Well, we are so excited to welcome this week's guest. She is one of the queens of DIY. It is the one and only Laura Della, House Project UK.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. We are honoured to have you.
I know. This is
So
so
exciting.
exciting.
I love this setup as well.
Thank
Who designed
you.
this?
It was a joint effort, I feel.
venture.
Although featuring Leah Gold objects for sure. You might
Yes.
spot a few little. Yes,
The
lovely
chair has
chair.
just made its way out of the box for this today.
It's
For you.
gorgeous.
For
it's like
you, actually.
stripes on stripes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very happy here.
You blend in beautifully.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, welcome to the pod and welcome to talk all things exciting. This week's episode, we are talking about hack it at home and DIY and not being intimidated about doing things yourself. And we thought, who better to ask than you? So I guess for people who maybe don't know who you are, can you give us a
How
little...
rude,
Yeah, I
firstly.
know. Number one, rude. But number two, can you let our listeners know, who are you and what was your journey to this point in a nutshell?
Blimey. Okay, so I'm Laura and I'm House Project UK and I'm a bit of an accidental content creator. And I know lots of people say that, oh, I just fell into it, but I genuinely did. I am a teacher. Well, I was until literally Friday. So a few days ago,
Breaking
I
news.
finished. And yeah, it's just this wonderful world where I moved into a house and didn't even intend to renovate myself, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but like it's just this journey of like learning to DIY. Then people started like watching it, and then it's become a thing, and now I've quit my job and now I'm here with you, so it's all been a bit nuts.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, but in terms of like how I got into it, it was just totally random, and that's why I hope like talking about it inspires others to be like, there's no big plan, there's no big official training, it's just been something that I did pick up and then kind of really got into it.
Yeah.
Like really got into it.
But have you always had a love for interiors? Like, has there always been something that's caught your eye? Like, even though you weren't necessarily doing it as a job?
Yeah, I've always been somebody that liked to decorate, but I'm talking about, you know, when I was younger, it was Aston Villa posters and bedspread. You know, it wasn't anything of any style. And then when I was at university, it was all just kind of like things dangling from my windows. And
Love
like, we had a shop called Evolution in Birmingham, and I used to just spend all my money in there, and anything that was like wooden and purple, and I just drape it across my room. So I wouldn't say I was stylish, but I always liked to
We had a creative
dabble.
eye.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But obviously with this house, I've just kind of found my way But that has evolved as well. I've like made some right mistakes along the journey, but
who hasn't?
well, yeah.
That's how we all learn,
I think
ultimately.
Yeah.
And I guess when you said you got the house, is that when you started DIY, I guess? Like, was there a job that came up that sparked, I can do this on my own, or where did that come from?
Well, we'd had a couple of houses before, but I had done absolutely nothing. Like, I didn't even cross my mind that I would do anything in those houses. So my husband did a bit of painting, but we didn't do much, and we just kind of lived in it for a bit, sold it on, had a new build which was painted for us, did nothing, sold it on, moved into a house that was a bit of a wreck, you know. It was only 1970s, had absolutely no nice features to salvage. But yeah, it was just one of those moments where a light bulb kind of clicked, and it was like, no, I'm actually going to have a go. And that kind of moment was, I had a 1 and a 3-year-old, and my husband had just, we both were teachers, and he'd just become a head teacher.
Oh, wow.
And he suddenly wasn't around. And I was there with these just taking on this renovation that we were I was very kind of Kirsty and Phil inspired, you know. They were like, come on, it's our next rite of passage. We've had 2 kids, let's do a house up. And we moved in there, and then, he got this job, and he just suddenly was so busy. And I was there with the babies, and I was like, and then one day I just decided in a nap time to be like, I'm going to put this peg rail up. And I kind of just did it. And then
the rest is history.
The rest is history. But then obviously I started an Instagram to kind of initially just get ideas. And then I kind of struggled to just watch stuff, you know, and I'd be like, I want to be involved. So then I started like kind of showing my journey, and it went a little bit nuts.
Well, I mean, as it should. Your page is awesome, and your content is, what I love about your content is it's educational. Like, it's, but not like sit down and learn. It's like subconsciously just learning from you, which I think is so important, because I think we can all be learning. And, you know, I'm no DIY expert. Like, I love interior design and I love doing things, but as often I'm like looking at things, I'm like, oh my God, I've bitten off more than I can chew here. And sometimes just hearing somebody else's opinion on something, or, you know, watching one of your videos might inspire somebody else to be like, no, do you know what? I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to put up that peg rail or whatever. And I think it's so important to have creators like you around, because I think it shows people that anyone can do it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really hope it's helpful. I think the teaching background has definitely helped me, because I'm used to like breaking stuff down, but I was totally learning as I was going as well. And I kind of wanted to show that. So anyone that's been there since the early days in 2020, where I just had like my dad's borrowed tools. I was just absolutely winging it. And I think that's kind of what's nice now, is that community's come with me to the stage that it's at now. And hopefully when they feel like they're learning, it's legit. You know, I've taught myself. There's no kind of quick tricks here. I've made so many mistakes, but you need to do that to grow. So
totally,
absolutely,
totally. And would you have any advice for anybody who is in a DIY store and they're feeling very overwhelmed? They don't know, they think they can do it, but then they don't know. What advice would you say to somebody who's wanting to do a DIY project but just feeling a little bit intimidated by the vast scale of it?
Yeah, I think firstly, we have this big thing about these DIY stores has been this big like masculine like men, you know, with their big trolleys of timber, and like I think just go and ask the staff. Like every DIY store I've been into, everyone has been so helpful, but sometimes it's getting over that initial thing of actually like I'm going to go to the big DIY store and walk in there. Go and ask. Like the people are trained and they are lovely. So firstly, I think it's kind of fighting the fear of just being in that space. But then, you know, there's so many resources out there now, like to learn yourself and to be able to kind of watch a video before or read a book, which we'll talk about later. But I do think, you know, it's our responsibility to also educate ourselves and to kind of learn these things. Nobody knows it, not going to know the difference between different types of screw and different types of material. Like you have to learn that stuff. But then once you know it, go in there and get it. And if you need to get your materials cut in store, do that. And then just be patient and go home and just take it slow.
Yeah. There's no rush. There's no pressure. I think unfortunately some of the downsides to like social media is pressure and feeling like it has to be perfect. You have to do it right and you can't make mistakes. But the reality is we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Ultimately, that person you're probably watching has made 10 mistakes doing that before they've probably
and that video took 2 weeks to film. And, you know, and they've had 4 different versions of the edit of the video or whatever. You know, that's obviously now we're on that side of it. We know that that's a reality. But I guess it's nice to know that we're all human.
Oh yeah, and with learning, like if you're going to do a new sport or learn a language or whatever it is, you would not expect to just go, I fancy learning the tennis serve and just being like, boom, boom, I've got a ball and a racket so I can serve. It's not how it works. You know, you got to
can't be
break it
Nadal?
down. Like
One shot.
that's it. You know, I was PE, so most of my references go back to PE, and then I became a science teacher, and I had to literally teach myself chemistry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, my degree was sport and exercise science, so like there was a little bit
Science element there.
it didn't include Bunsen burners with like 30
Oh my God, is that what
year
you were doing?
10s. Oh yeah, I was having to do everything. But
Oh my gosh.
but anyway,
What a transition from Bunsen burners to drills.
I know.
mean,
it's been quite varied, but I've kind of almost proved to myself that you can learn new things.
hey, you can never stop learning.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what I
it.
always
You
say.
just have to want to. I think that's a lot of the time is people sometimes are a little bit lazy, or they're like, oh, how do they always do that, or watch videos. But people will learn. Like, you need to learn. They didn't wake up one day, as you say, and know how to do it. It's you need to have the interest and the desire to want to do it is one thing as well, which
And
is hard.
patience, and be kind to yourself, and like you're going to make a mess. Like, buy extra wood because you're going to bodge a couple of cuts. Like,
I'm a
go
stickler for that.
slow. Like, if you do that, like, we're not tradespeople. You're not like paying somebody to come and whip something up, you know, paying a day rate. So like, just take your time, you know. I think that's the part with DIY. You've got to accept that you're not going to come in like a tradesperson would do and just whip it up in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Do it when you can and just go easy on yourself.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Now, we want to talk about some of your hacks or your DIY tips and tricks, I guess. So are there any in particular that stand out to you as ones that you would say are quite memorable for you, or ones that maybe taught you a lot from your experience of doing it? Because you've been doing your house since 2020, you were saying. So are there any that stick out to you?
Well, my first one that I ever did properly by myself was just paneling. And I know some people are like, oh, so over paneling. I am personally not. And I feel like it's a good entry level DIY just to get yourself started and feel like you're making a little change to your home. It's not going to like absolutely like blow anybody's mind, but it might bring a bit of character.
Yeah, it
you
does.
practice some measuring and cutting,
It's hard.
securing skills and finishing and decorating. It's a really good one to start with. So I think if you're looking at a room and you're like, what can I do here? And I want to DIY. I think a safe option is to maybe look at, maybe it's paneling a wall or doing a half wall or maybe the whole room. But I do think, like for me, that was the one where I was like, oh, do you know what? That's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's
You're
not.
like, I did that.
I did that.
Love it.
Squint a little bit of that corner, but I'm going to conk
But
it.
listen,
Only you're the only one that's
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're
That's good
probably,
as well.
because we're so critical of ourselves, you're probably the only person that would notice that.
Yeah, and to be fair, then on socials, like I wouldn't go, ooh, have you seen that bit?
You
Like,
don't zoom in on that bit. We have a quick
Pan.
pan round.
that's it. I'm like, put a trailing plant over
Yeah,
that. But, you know, and
perfect.
it is what it is. But so paneling, I think, is a great place to start. But for me, the big thing that's made all the difference was doing my own storage. So like a little built-in bookcase, doing my
Under the
understairs.
stairs one was a good one.
Yeah, people went wild. And it was just a Kallax unit from IKEA on caster wheels with an end panel shoved in the little gap under my stairs.
So clever. But like, it's
That's quite daunting to some people because
Yeah.
I need understair storage and I've never done it. But you said that like it was so easy, and I'm sure to you very, very easy. But I would probably struggle. But you know, you make all these guides that break it down, and you have this is what you need, and this is the steps, and then it becomes accessible.
Yeah,
for-
and I also
for
think
everyone.
that something about making it accessible is like the idea of if you went to a carpenter and was like, I want some understair storage. And they're like, right, okay, it's 10 grand. And then you're like, oh my God, like, you know, you have these ideas of things that you want. And then the budget all of a sudden comes into play, which is where I guess like a lot of people go to DIY, right? Because they're like, do you know what? I haven't got 10 grand, but I want to give it a go and maybe, you know, try it themselves. I guess, do you find that budget, even on a DIY level, do you find that budget has quite a big impact on like some of the hacks and stuff that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. And that Kallax that I used on that one was secondhand. It was already in my son's room. So it wasn't even like it was a new Kallax.
Oh my God, love that.
But, you know, I planned it over Christmas. I'd been walking around with this tape measure in like my dressing gown pocket for the whole of Christmas. Every time I walked past it, I was like,
Just be sure it fit in there.
would it work? So then the minute everybody went back to school in January, I was like, boom, boom, I was on it. And I just got the little wheels, you know, like for a tenner off Amazon, screwed them in. I already had some offcuts to do the end panel. And then a bit like, everyone comes home like, do you notice anything new?
I love that.
Wait until somebody
good.
notices. But I do, obviously it is a confidence thing, but I do think you just got to try it. And also, there's so many resources out there now.
And even I love what you were just saying about that you used a secondhand unit. Like even on a DIY level, you can still be resourceful. Because I know that you do often, like people do DIY to try and save money and whatever. But I love the idea that you can still, even like you were like, I've got this spare unit, I'm going to reuse that. And then it also makes it even cheaper, which is even better for people who are looking to do things on a budget.
Definitely. If
I
you're painting it anyway or flipping it in some way, I would absolutely look secondhand first. Like me and Marketplace are best friends.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
this gal, she loves the Facebook Marketplace.
To be fair, when we were doing the show, obviously we were on very, very tight budgets, but my Marketplace algorithm was
Popping
down
off.
to a T. She knew me. We were really good friends. And I love Facebook Marketplace. I was like waking up in the morning, scrolling, going to bed at night, scrolling. It was a bit of an addiction. I did have to stop for a while. I had to wean myself off.
I went through a phase of Leah just being like, but I've got this. I don't need it, but I just really liked it, and I thought I could maybe do something with it. And I was like, great, okay. And then I was like, where's it going? And she was like, don't know, no idea.
But it was a bargain.
Yeah, it was free.
Or it was free.
Yeah.
That's Leah's good at getting the free ones.
I did have to put a stop on it though, because the spare room was spiraling. So
Something I want to touch on is when you've said it, when you're doing these DIYs, you make mistakes. It's quite common. What would you say, like some of the most common, like, oh no, mistakes that are made when doing DIYs? And can we avoid them? Are there any that you've learned from that are quite, like, actually, no, if you just did that, you'd avoid making that mistake. And that's a little nugget of information for someone.
Yeah, I think it's the cuts for me. Like even now, I'll measure it again. I'll take the piece of wood down to my cabin in my garden. I'll measure it and I'll cut it and I'll come back and I'll be like, right, what has happened?
From here to here, how have we got to this?
Yeah. So I feel like with the measuring and cutting, like just keep checking and checking. And also I found anything with an angle, see me and numbers, even though I did have to teach chemistry and physics, numbers and I are not best friends. So I would make paper templates of the angles because if I could see it, I could understand it. Yeah. So I would trace it, even if like on a cereal box, be like, right, that's that angle, and I'd cut it. Then I would take that to the cabin, and that then always worked for me. Yeah. Whereas if I just had the numbers, by the time I had got down there, set the saw, and I'd be like, I don't know what goes on, but it wasn't right.
That's very good advice.
Yeah. I often find that we measure, like we were doing stuff for the show, we'd measure like 2-3 times, and we'd be like, no, we've not got enough wood. Huh, how has that happened?
Yeah. Well, we cut all the paneling to do up the stairs, which is obviously at angles. And it was, to be fair, one of the first things we did in the house, which I felt was quite difficult. But my husband is mathsy, so I was like, he could do this. And we cut all of the wood, and then we were like, okay, that's enough for one day. We'll come back to it tomorrow. And we came back to the next day, and we couldn't put together the pieces anymore. And he was like, that's it, we're not doing it. And we ended up chucking all the wood out. He was like, I can't. He was like, they all fitted together the day before because we'd cut them all, we'd place them all. We're like, that's it, it's
Something
perfect.
happens though. It's almost like you have to be in that numbers headspace in that moment. But then I've done like what you were saying, where you measure it again, and then you go and cut it, and then you come back and you're like, how is that not right now? What's happened? It just happened. I don't know. I've done it with fabric as well. I do a lot of upholstery and sewing and stuff. And my mum was a sewing teacher, and she always said, measure your fabric at least 3 times to make sure you don't make a mistake. And I've done like upholstery, like headboards and stuff, and I've cut the fabric and it's wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to buy a whole new piece of fabric because it's too small.
Can I tell you one other thing I really messed up with once though? This was very early on in the house career. Had all this skirting board and it was all pre-primed. So I went and got my paint, and then I was there with about like a ridiculous amount of meters of skirting board. I'm going to paint it. Started painting it, and it was all just like repelling. And obviously oil-based primer, water-based top coat. And I'd bought litres of this paint. Obviously I couldn't take it back because it was custom colour, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, right, water-based paint finishes all the way from now on. And that was the first time I learned, again, science, about oil-based and water-based and the repelling. I was like, right, I will never make that mistake
I
ever
know now.
again. So now I'm like
I didn't
looking.
even think about that. That's such a good point. Yeah, because it's literally just, I can see what's happening to it, literally just rolling off.
Yeah, I was like, why is it not
Like
sticking?
when you use a marker pen on sellotape.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it just like,
Just fizzles away.
Yeah, so that was one of the worst.
Well, I think it's a perfect segue for us to start talking about your wonderful book, which I have a copy of right here, everybody. Nailed it. Love it. So talk to us about this wonderful book, because, I mean, can I just say, the cover is stunning. I love it.
I do love the artwork in this book, I have to say. So it's not just a manual, it's the book that I wish I'd had. Like back in 2020 when I was rocking about with my toddlers and my dad's jigsaw, like with, a wing and a prayer kind of. I just wish I'd had it nice and clear, labelled out. And I had this idea that I wanted it to be almost like a cookbook. Yes. So every project is like, right, almost like ingredients, but what do I need? How long might it take? And then what are the steps? So I was very kind of clear that I wanted it to be really simple to access. Every double page, how to do this. This is what you need. Here are the steps.
I love that, like a cookbook.
Yeah.
Because they're easy to follow.
Well, that's what I thought. And like for somebody that I don't do much cooking, that's my husband's forte, but I'll go and put the shelf up.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just want it to be really accessible, so nothing's assumed as well. So whether you've never touched a tool in your life, or whether you've done a little bit and you know a little bit, or maybe you're just looking for ideas, hopefully it's in the book. So
yeah, I love the list. I think also you get frustrated sometimes where you think you've got everything, you get halfway through the job, and then it's like, oh, I needed this. And then you're both like, oh, I can't be bothered going out now. And then 8 months later, the project's still left there. But having a list at the start, it's like, okay, now we can crack on properly because I've got everything on my list and I'm ready to go. So I think stuff like that is so useful.
Yeah, I wanted to put in a troubleshooting section as well. So it's like, yes, and then you might find this though. Have a look for this, check this. And then like, if that's clear, you're good to go.
Ask Jeeves.
Yeah,
21st century, ask Jeeves.
We're showing our age now.
I was going to say, we are showing our age there, guys, because everyone's going to be like, what's Ask Jeeves? I'm like, guys, just go look it up. Go Google it.
I would say Ask Jeeves is like the AI of today.
Yeah, well,
yeah, that's very true, actually.
True. Yeah, kind of true. But what inspired you then was it your journey, I guess, that inspired you to be like, I want to give back to people and put it into a format that you wished you'd had? Was that what inspired you to do it?
Yeah, I feel like there's a real gap in the market there. When you look at the books, they're very manual, they're a bit dry, and I actually wanted to put that story in. Like I was like 35, 36 the first time I ever used a drill, and this is the journey that I've been on, and here's why. And I'm not saying that like, if you go and drill this shelf, you're going to go on this social media journey. It's not about that. No. But it's these small little wins that are going to make you and your home feel better, and you feel that satisfaction and that pride. Yeah. And like for me, DIY has just made me feel more confident. Yeah. And I think learning anything new at whatever stage of life you're at is just really satisfying.
Yeah, totally.
So like spread the love.
Yeah, like I think if you make something in your own home, or I know obviously people always say interior design and DIY are very different, but I designed my kitchen, then I also decorated it myself, and then I feel like I have a more personal connection to it because I'm like, I did those tiles, like I tiled for the first time, I cut that, that, like you said, the little mark you see which isn't quite right, that tile's a bit wonky, but we'll chuck it in the corner and no one else will notice it. I appreciate it more, and I'm more satisfied with the kitchen because I'm like, well, I did that myself. Like it's such a nice feeling to be able to say you've done it. Yeah. And very empowering.
Also, lots of us don't have people that have taught us this stuff before. Yeah. We don't take for granted that knowledge is passed down. It's not always. And actually, like, to be able to teach yourself, and there's little bits where you can write your own notes and measurements in it. But we want it to be like a proper book, like fold the corner, like
highlight things.
Get it a bit mucky, like hold it in one hand whilst you're looking at something, But there's also some really pretty pictures. And I was really thrilled because a lot of them are based on things that I've done in my house. So like my arched bookcases are in there and things like that. And some quotes. Because sometimes we just need to be told, like, go and bloody smash it.
Yeah, you've got this.
You've got this. So like...
motivational quotes. Yeah. When you're like, I'm having a meltdown about the panelling, but Laura's told me I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, it's all
I'm going to move on. I've got this. I love that. I love it. Now, I think... hearing you, and you have touched on it, but I think hearing you, a lot of this is to do with confidence. And I think that is something, we've spoken about this quite a lot, that in the world of interiors in particular, confidence is often what's holding people back from anything in life, but especially in interiors, because people do have the right instincts and people do have the want and the need to do things, but it's themselves that are holding them back. So if somebody is not confident and they were reading your book, what do you think is one thing, one piece of advice? I know that's maybe hard to say, one piece of advice, but what's one thing that you would give them at the start of their DIY journey, for example, to give them that confidence boost to do it?
Oh, so it depends what you want to achieve, really. But I would start small, and maybe it is just something in your room that you look at every day. So maybe you want to, I don't know, put a picture rail up so you can then have some photos of your family up that you look at. Like, do something small that's going to mean something to you, but take it slow. Get the right equipment.
I was going to say, is there a tool?
Is there a list?
Is there a list? Is that in the book?
Yeah, it is actually. We've got you must have non-power tools, then the power tools, and then it's like, you're decorating bits and bobs. But I think you've got to take time to build up a collection of these things as well. But look for tool libraries, ask your neighbours. So many people have a wallpaper steamer just sat in their garage. Yeah. Don't go and spend 50 quid on a new one. Like, reach out and try and make it like a community thing.
Yeah, I often find a lot of the tools in our toolbox that we have are hand-me-downs from, family members who are like, oh, I've got like 3 hammers.
Marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
I got my wallpaper steamer on Marketplace for like a tenner because, again, people use it once, they chuck it in a cupboard, and then you're like, it's taking up so much space, I don't need it. Sell it for super cheap, and then it just gets passed on and passed on.
Yeah, and I think you've got to protect your time, because if you don't allocate set time to do it, and it's just like, oh, I'll do it this weekend, well, you're probably not, and stuff's going to come up. But actually block out a bit of time, where you're not going to see anybody. Get everything ready. I'm a big fan of like getting stuff sorted. If I'm going to work on a Saturday, get it sorted on the Friday. There's nothing worse than waking up knowing you've got to like masking tape or do the boring stuff.
I hate that.
Do that the night before.
Because then you can actually hit the ground running on the next day.
Yeah.
Don't want to waste time running out.
That's actually such a good tip, because that's part of the issue when you do, masking tape is so long. I hate doing that job.
Yeah, it's all those little preppy bits, but they are so important to the final finish. So like, set that up the night before, go to, am I allowed to say B&Q?
Yeah.
I love B&Q. Go to B&Q.
Oh my God, I love B&Q.
I used to, because my school was right by B&Q, so I'd come
Lunch
straight
breaks.
out of school.
Lunch breaks.
So you joking? Have you seen teaching these days?
Oh no, my brother's a school teacher.
Okay,
so
I was going to say,
understand.
lunch breaks are, you're lucky if you get a wee and a sandwich.
Oh,
let
God.
alone
let alone a trip to B&Q.
Those days are past, don't worry.
I know, only just though. I haven't acclimatised yet into civilian
you
world.
must still feel like you just gone on summer holidays or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have. Well, like, it's officially day 1 today, but it's a bit like, see you, husband. I'm going to London to meet you guys.
Love it.
But yeah, go on the way back from work, get things delivered a week in advance, and just have it ready. Do not spend half of your designated time queuing in a big shop, because you just lose your mojo. Get up and get on it.
Yeah. I wonder, interested on your thoughts on this one. I feel like since COVID, we now sort of live in a world where DIY is a thing. And it wasn't, I think pre-pandemic, it wasn't really as much of a thing as it is now. But I think, like yourself, so many people, lockdown was a big deal. I bought a flat in lockdown, and then it was the start of my kind of interior journey as well. Do you think that this DIY world culture is here to stay? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that people are now like, that's it, we are now going to just try and do as much as we can ourselves? Or do you think it's like something that will pass? What do you think?
Well, I think it's become very popular. And I think, I'm going to take on a reno, and now I'm going to do it myself. And the reality is, parts of it, you definitely can do yourself. But there's going to be times when it is better for your sanity and safety and other parts to be like, no, I'm getting professional tradespeople in. Yeah. And I will say, even though I've written a DIY book, I am a big advocate for using trades, supporting our tradespeople. But when you can, brilliant, go and do it yourself. I don't think it's a fad. I think people are waking up to the idea and the accessibility of being able to I can get these tools in a community tool library. I can see this online tutorial, and I'm actually going to do it for a fraction of the price. And I think with cost of living and all those changes, people are waking up to, actually, I can do this myself.
And like you said, there's maybe, somebody who's like, right, do you want to re-roof your house? You're probably like, no, do you know what? I'm going to get specialists on that one. But
or you might do a bit of the prep work yourself to save a bit of the cost. You do up into what you feel is, okay, now it's not within my repertoire anymore. I'm going to pass it on to a skilled professional, and I think that's fine. But it's more, I think, people are now giving it a go until they get to that point, which is really good to see as well.
No, I definitely think so. And I think that, like you said, because of people like you and your book and your channel, that's what's helping it stick around. It's because people are waking up and seeing that actually, yes, it is achievable. I can do this. And I love that you've got motivational quotes in that book, because there are so many times that I've been on like a journey of doing a hack or doing something, and I have like a full blown meltdown midway through. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And you have a full Paddy.
Or the amount of people that say they almost got divorced during like building an IKEA wardrobe or something. Like, it's those things that really tip people over the edge when both of you don't know what you're doing and you kind of put a lot of pressure on the other person. They're like, I don't know what I'm doing either, and you watch the build up of the argument.
It is stressful, and I think there's an element of we put pressure on ourselves, and like you said, cut yourself some slack. Just, you know, you might get things wrong. It might take a lot longer than you first anticipated. I often find a lot of my stresses come from the fact I put such strict time schedules in place of how long I need a hack or a job to take. And then I'm like, oh, it's not finished. And I'm like, but hang on, it doesn't need to be done today. It can be done next week. It can be done next month. There's literally no rush.
Yeah. I think that is the social media, the whole like twirly transition and ta-da.
The 13 seconds. Ta-da.
That's it. And obviously you have to make these snappy reels, and I have to do the same. And sometimes I feel a bit fraudulent to be like, I can't even click my fingers, but I'm just like do a little clap or a little little paint flick. And then, it's not done that quickly. And I think we've got to totally normalise it. And that's where socials have to go side by side with reality. Here's a whizzy reel, but on stories and in my highlights, here is the graft, and here is like the serious manual labour and the little injuries and the knocks you get. You have to share that stuff to go side by side.
And I also think it's quite refreshing to see like the actual graft that goes into it, because as lovely as the reveal videos are and like they grab your attention, oh my God, that's amazing. There's also an element of seeing the bits that went wrong. And like you said, the troubleshooting of like, be aware this might happen. And I don't know if you do that in your stories, but like, you know, telling people, you know, it wasn't as easy as I made it look in that reel. I think that people resonate with that because that's what the reality of a lot of people is. They do it and it goes wrong. And then you're like, how have I got it wrong? But you did it amazingly right in 13 seconds and with a video. So it's nice.
Or they give up so quickly because they think, I must be doing something wrong because they've done it super, super quick. Like our friends just bought their first place and they were putting up a dado around the room. And she messaged me, they'd got everything, to be fair, they actually had done a wee list, they had everything started, and it got to about 3:00 and she was like, Leah, this is how far we've come in like 6 hours. She was like, am I doing something wrong? And I was like, no, like it's the first time you've done it, it's the first time you've used a mitre saw, like it's the first time you're doing this, like it's going to take you a while, but then the next time you do it, it probably will take you half the time, but like you're not going to go in being a professional straight away. And I think social media sometimes makes you think, but they did it so quickly, so I must be able to do it so quickly. And actually, you're practically like a skilled trade, really. You've got amazing skills, but obviously years of experience as well. So there comes a bit.
I think there's something credibility that comes from you've done the graft, you've done that, you've made the mistakes, you've told us about it, you've put it in your book, and you said, right, learn from this. And I think it's great.
But I also totally know my limits. I'll never touch electrics. I'll never touch plumbing. To be fair, all the plastering happened before I'd made my DIY journey. I think I would have been tempted.
Was you?
I'm
I've heard plastering's really hard.
Yeah, I'm 5'2". I can't be doing the ceiling. So I just
too much. Things like that. I sort of get to a point where I'm like, oh no, I can't.
There are some really good plastering tools though now.
There are, and somebody I know has taken on a house and done a course in it. And I'm like, fair play to you, another teacher.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. You
should
see.
We please just show. I'm like, fair play, you know, get trained and then go and do it. And there's no rush on it. But she's like, I'm going to plaster my own house. I'm like, go on, girl.
Yeah.
But I just think you've got to take on your own journey. And if that means you've just decorated, whereas previously you would have paid someone to do it, that's massive, you know. That's a really kind of big start. If you're then building your own furniture and laying your own flooring and the rest of it, then absolute hats off, you know.
I mean, thing that scares me, and I know you've done this, tiles. Tiles scare me. I don't know. Leah did retile her kitchen. I was actually like, oh my God, I find tiles quite intimidating. Like tile cutting in particular.
I mean, the angle grinder was slightly terrifying the first time I turned it on, but you get a bit of the wee kickback. My husband was like miles away, but like, you are on your own here, honey. Have fun with that. But I did it.
And you felt good after?
Yeah.
Now you look at your kitchen, you're like, I did that.
Minus that wee cracked one, but I did that.
That's part of it, isn't it?
It's part of the journey. Yes.
Well, Laura, we're coming to the end of our chat with you, and as sad as we are to let you go, we can't let you go without doing our round of 5 quick-fire questions. We ask these to all of our guests with no preparation, but they're not scary. Don't worry. They're all interior stuff that hopefully you will be able to answer quite quickly.
Right.
So, number 1.
Favourite colour?
Green. Do you want a specific shade of green?
If you've got one.
Go on.
I like Farrow & Ball car dream green.
Oh, I love car
But then I
green.
get slated for being, is it a bit millennial sage?
No, but I think it's...
With fresh. twist.
No, I like it. I think it's great.
That's so specific. I love it.
No, you're like, if I'm going for it, I'm going for this.
Pantone number.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Love it. Okay, second question. What is your favourite room in your home?
It's my living room. But that isn't green. That's Incra blue. But
I
it's
love Incra blue. I used to have that in our house.
I just think it's so versatile. But that's the room where every single piece of furniture is an upcycle or I've built it myself. So I'm pretty chuffed with that.
I bet you sit in that room, you're like, yeah.
I just sit there going, do I want to change it?
Are there any others that I could do?
Yeah. Fit another little cabinet in that corner. Yeah.
Love it.
Never satisfied, are we? And where is your favourite place to get inspiration from?
So I use Pinterest a lot. I just love the simplicity of just looking at images. And I think sometimes that's what Instagram and things have kind of moved away from. It's all bam, bam, bam and educational. Obviously, I've lent into that. But when I just want to see what do I like the look of, what kind of colour combinations, textures, then I like Pinterest.
Yeah. And I like as well, it might not be that you're recreating a room, but you're like, in that picture, I like one element, and it might be like, I like that colour, and in that one, I like that sofa. And so you're plucking all of these different images to create your own in your head. And it's something about, that's kind of what Instagram used to be, isn't it? And now,
No more one image wonders.
No.
I saw people trying to bring it back though. I saw somebody posted on my feed the other day.
I was kind of here for it.
I was kind of here for it because I was like, listen, I would love it if we could just post one picture.
Yes.
That would be, imagine.
With no text.
Do I really have to rebuild my utility room to make one reel? No.
Just do one picture.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Maybe.
No, maybe. Next question is, what is your favourite season at home?
So absolutely spring, summer in my house. It's 2 seasons. But you know that transition from like middle of May into like about now. So we have this beautiful lilac tree in the garden, and when we put in the gable end glass, it was all just to be able to show that tree. And even though that's not something that we've added to the house, it just changes so much through the year. And when it flowers in May, I'm like, yes. For 2 weeks. It's stunning.
Well, it's nice, and that's also like something that brings you joy. You know, and I think that's what we always talk about. And it's interesting, we've actually had a few people say that kind of period as well. And I think for similar reasons, or not specific, but like the fact that it's like the flowers just coming through and
everything's
that kind
like coming back into life.
You know, when people go nuts for autumn and pumpkins and all of that now, I'm like, no,
You're like,
thank you.
No,
do not show me a ghoul or a pumpkin on my feed. I do not want to see it.
Pumpkin spice, nothing. You want?
I am not into it. I'm like, it just makes me feel like I'm going to get all cozy and like, I don't want to be cold.
No,
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're not a cold kind of gal, are you?
I'm here for the summer.
Yeah.
I love a bit of winter, me.
Yeah,
but maybe not in the UK because it's just long and grey. But winter somewhere else, maybe.
Like everyone who moans that it's like 35 degrees right now, I'm like, be gone.
Yeah.
This is where I thrive.
Yeah.
And then final question.
Last one.
Yeah, last one.
Forgot about the last one. Do you have a favourite piece in your home? So it could be furniture, an object, artwork.
Hat.
I said a hat. I was like,
a hat. Yeah, it could be
Yeah, I'm not a hat
yeah.
person. So I did this upholstered dining bench, which it was one of my first things that I did, and it's in this like lovely like kind of mossy green velvet, and I did it by myself, and it's where we have like all the Sunday dinners and the birthdays and the Christmas dinners and all of that, and that for me is like the centerpiece of the home, and I love that I made it. But also, like, that's where all the good stuff happens, you know, like your little happy family memories, they're all around that bit. And I'm like,
corner.
It's just what I wanted when I designed it.
Isn't it funny that, like, how furniture can have such an impact? Like, just something as simple as a bench holds so much weight to us because of the memories it creates and because of the things it leans into. I just find it so amazing. Because, I love that small piece of furniture just means so much.
Yeah, I've got all the little pictures of the kids, you know, when they were 6, and then now we're applying for secondary schools, but they, you know, see the pictures and they're sat on the bench, and it's like a little timeline of
it.
I'll be with you. You can't get rid of that bench now.
No, it's doing well though, to be fair.
Okay.
It's lasting.
That's good. Well, it's a good hack then, obviously.
Yes,
very well done.
What a wonderful hack. Still
It's in the book.
Well, guys, yes. Well, we are going to have to say goodbye to you, Laura. But before we let you go, can you tell people where can they find you? Where can they buy a copy of your book? Tell everybody.
Shall I look down the camera?
You can
for
look
this
down the
one?
camera. Deliver it to the fans. Tell
Hi
them.
guys. Okay, so you can find me on House Project UK. I'm on all socials. I'm trying to get better on YouTube. So by saying this now, maybe I actually will. And the book Nailed It is available in all good bookstores, but obviously online retailers as well. Comes out in the US very soon, and Australia, New Zealand. So
Wow.
Worldwide?
I was going to say.
not yet, but almost worldwide.
Oh, that's amazing.
If I can see one American person sending me a photo holding the book in America, then I'll believe it.
I think you're going to get more than one. I think
sure
you'll be
you
fine.
will.
That'd be good. That'd be
I'm
nice.
sure it's so
Incredible.
good. Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat to us. It's been so awesome to have you on.
Yeah, it's been great fun. Thank you.
Thank so
you
inspiring.
so much. I know.
Yeah, I feel motivated now to go
I'm
and
going
do
to go
some.
make my list.
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
going
gonna
to get
make
on with
the
the DIY projects that need done.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Friday night's now prep night. Nothing sociable.
Social
Banned.
calendars.
I'm
been
literally
cancelled.
about to buy a house, so I've got a lot of hacks coming. So I'm gonna go and get ready.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Laura for that. I've learned so much. I'm so excited she's left us a copy
I
of her
know.
book.
I can't wait to read it, and also because I'm ready to take on all of the hacks at this point.
You're going to be so
This
well
is literally this is my Bible.
It's your Bible.
And I will pray to the DIY gods because I need all the help I can get. Trust me.
And thankfully now you'll have Laura on speed dial. Sorry, Laura.
I'd literally be like, Laura, please help me. Please. Thank you, Laura. And thank you for coming to join us. Yeah, hopefully you guys take a bit of inspiration from her because she just did it all herself and learned.
Exactly.
And anyone can do it.
Yep.
So. Now, speaking of little DIY projects, we might have some people who've sent in some dilemmas of their own DIY problems.
Yes.
And can we help them? That's the question, because it is none other. Design or
divorce.
divorce.
Perfect.
Okay, go for it. Number one.
Okay, we've got Linda from Bradford, which is the number one listener this week.
Hi, Linda.
Hello, Linda. Now, I actually really resonate with Linda's problem, so I'll get into it.
Hit me.
So she says her and her partner had started their first DIY job together of paneling the stairs. And they basically started the job without realising how much work was involved. And now the job has been sat for 8 months unfinished. So she has half a set of stairs.
Yep.
At what point do they call in a professional, or does she keep agging at her husband to help?
I've been there like so many times when you've got a project that just seems to take so much longer than you ever anticipated. And I get it. Like you just feel unmotivated to finish it. And I guess the quick fix would be, get the professional in, get it done. If you can financially do that and you've lost all motivation and your mental well-being is through the floor, then fair enough. You know, I think sometimes you have to, but I think if you started it, then there's some satisfaction in getting it done.
And as Laura just said, put in a day in the diary that is to finish it. Like, because if you don't, you'll just make plans on that day and this will sit unfinished. But if you actually block out, like, this is the weekend, we're finishing the paneling on the stairs, we're not making plans and we're doing it, I reckon Linda and her man can get it done.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I think if you put your mind to it, you put the time in, you get all the... I loved Laura's tip, actually, of what she said was do the prep the night before. Yeah. So then when you get down to the day you've put in the diary, you really are just hitting the ground running.
Yep.
And I think that is a big part of it, because often you just struggle to motivate at the first point. The first hurdle, you're like, oh, Absolutely. I've got to tape it, and that takes so long.
I don't... Yeah. So, yeah.
Linda, hope that helps, but get it done, hun.
You started it. You can do it.
You can do it, babe.
You can do it.
You can do it, Bruce. Right. I think we're just doing one today because we chatted so much to Laura because the chat was too good.
I know we're struggling with these to fit them in.
I know. But listen, when you're having good chats like we've been having these days, it's hard not to.
It's hard to fit it all in.
But that is it for us for this week. So if you don't follow us already, get on socials and follow Til Design Do Us Part, and on YouTube.
Yes.
And on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts, because we release new episodes every Thursday, and we've got some corkers coming up. Next week's is an absolute corker.
Brilliant episode. Can't tell you anything about it, but you just have to listen.
Stum.
Right, well, we're still married after another episode, so...
Until next time, Til
Til
Design Do Us Part.
Ciao!
Bye.